Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Sense. If today is your first time for joining us on the show, oh my god, we're welcoming some very special people. I want to say thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you for staying to watch this. Thank you for not just passing by, you know. And I really want to implore you to go back to watch the previous episodes to importantly make sure you subscribe and make sure you like, make sure you pass your comment in the comment section, and God bless you as you do that. And please do go to share it with us as the word blesses you and to the returning family members. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I say God bless you. Thank you for all your updates. And as we get into today, I just have a quick question for you. I hope that you have indeed been trading with the word of God that you have been hearing. I hope that you've been doing something about it and you have not just been hearing it just for the sake of it, but you have allowed and been allowing the word of God to, do that which is meant to do the work of transformation in your life. I hope you're able to answer that genuinely. So as we move into today, without further ado, I want to say it's been a while that we have been on this series, a series of Can God Depend on You in This Generation? Can God depend on you in this generation? And then we have been looking at the story of the Rechabite family, which is found in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 35. Yeah, so this family is a family who were ready to, obey God through the voice of man. They were able to obey the voice of their forefathers, even though many of them didn't know who gave the decrees. I mean, they were not able to see their forefathers, but they knew that there was a word that was released unto them, read in records, and they were able to hold to heart without even seeing the person, without even hearing directly from the one who was giving the order. But they were able to obey it and they took it to the latter until the time that they were tested publicly of it. And that is God, making out a point, proving something to the people of Israelite. And it's just this is just God warning us. This is just God warning us. This is the same way was warning the Israelite then with this family. They were exemplary. It's still warning us today. And that is just God saying that there are some certain people who are able to obey the voice of God. What about the voice of man? What about the voice of God? Don't forget that the Bible tells us that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of God will help us to eschew evil. The fear of God will help us to run away from evil. The fear of God will help us to always take the right decision. The fear of God will help us to always put the interest of what God would think of us at heart. When we put that at heart, it would constrain us in our actions. It will help us to take the right decisions and to know that God is seeing us in whatever situation. It will help us to stand for Him and not to compromise, and help us to have a rethink of what the Father will think of us. We will not want to disappoint Him as our Father. So how much more of the voice of God have we been healed into? How much have we been able to, take in all this word to obey, to obey? Don't forget that there's always a reward for obedience. There's always a reward for obedience, and there's always a reward for everyone to that hear that do not obey. Because it is only those that obey that will eat the good of the land, that will eat the good of the land, and much more. We're talking about eternal reward. We're talking about a reward that has an inheritance that is everlasting, not just for this world. And so we saw that even the Rechabite family got their share of it, that God established a covenant that they will always have a man to stand before Him in the family. In the family. And so you might be saying, in your heart that how is it possible for me to stand for God in this generation? No, it's not easy. That's their own generation, and things are evolving. Technology is moving. This generation is with the way things are, that it's difficult for you to say you want to stand for God. In the midst of all this, it's good that we remind ourselves that the God of our forefathers is still the God of today and will still always be our God. And his standard will not change. His standard will not change. It's still the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And this can only be made easy for us if we accept Jesus, truly and genuinely, accepting him and by taking his yoke upon us to learn of him. And so we'll see that his burden is light and his yoke is easy. We'll be able to learn of him, and it will help us to understand how to walk even at a time as this. At a time as this. And so God is unaware of everything, is not unaware of everything that is happening in our current generation. And he knows, but yet his standard does not change. And so it's just left to us to open up ourselves to receive the help and the grace and the strength that he is going to supply us even at this time. The continuity in the word of God, in giving ourselves, to Jesus, is the guarantee for standing firm in our faith, is a guarantee for standing firm and building up our faith to be rooted and established in him, so that we will not be tossed around by every wind of doctrines that we see in the world, by every standard of the world and the things in the world that want to shake us and draw us away from the side of the Father. I will leave us with the fact that always remember that the essence of this word is to gear up something inside you, is to bring a shift. As you hear all this word accumulatively, is that our lives be transformed, is that we remember that God is looking out for those that will stand for him in the generation. And I hope you will not disappoint him as much as I don't want to disappoint him. And we will be helped by him indeed. Faith comes by hearing, even by the hearing of the word of God. Until next episode again, do well to stay alive, keep believing, keep growing. Shalom.